Morning everybody. Today I'm working on the Landcruiser and it's going to be a how-to video today. So basically my handbrake needs adjustment. A lot of people out there, they'll rab it on, oh, Landcruiser handbrakes are rubbish, blah blah blah. You know what, they're not the best. But it also comes down to a lot of people service their own cars and don't actually know what they're doing. So this video is going to be how to adjust the handbrake on a 79 Series Landcruiser the correct way. So now hopefully we can take a lot of the slop out of it. A lot of people I know just adjust the handbrake at the cable, which is at the handle. That's not how you do it. It is part of how you can do it, but you do need to adjust them down to the actual handbrake shoes themselves. It's the correct way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip the wheels off the back, because you need to have the wheels off to do it. And I've got it all chocked up at the front so she doesn't roll away. And I'll jack it up on stands. I'll show you what the handbrake's like at the moment. So at the moment it's pretty much all the way up. There's not really much further you can pull it. It runs out of teeth, I think. So it should not, that's just way too far. Yeah, I'll get these wheels off and then I'll show you how we go about adjusting it, and we'll try and get it a little bit better than what it is at the moment. Rightio, excuse the sound of rain. It just started raining. So I've got the wheels off now, and you'll notice this hole here, that's the hole you need to adjust the shoes through. So Landcruiser or 79 Series, I'm not sure about every other one, but the 79 Series, oh, get out of here, dog. Come on. Bloody dogs. Anywho, as I was saying, yeah, 79 Series, they run a drum shoe style handbrake. So what that means for people who don't know is inside of this, like here's your disc, there's your brakes there. So that's your actual foot brake. Inside here is two shoes. And what happens is there's a little brake cylinder up the top. And when you, oh, not a brake cylinder, sorry, there'll be a counter lever because it's a handbrake. What happens is when you pull your handbrake, the lever will extend both of the shoes outwards and they'll make contact with the drum and they'll hold it tight, and that's what stops your wheel spinning and stops your car moving. A lot of other ones, they run in different styles. Trucks will sometimes have them, well, most trucks now have them on the drive shaft up near the gearbox. There'll be the same thing as this, but it'll just be on the drive shaft. Seems to hold them a bit better too. Anywho, so yeah, if you haven't adjusted drum brakes before, you may struggle a little bit. Those who, you know, from older generation, they may remember cars used to have these as their brakes, and a lot of trucks still do. So you shouldn't have a drama. So what you need to do is rotate the hub, which I will try and do now. You need to rotate it so that this hole is directly at the bottom, because that's where the adjuster is. So if I put my screwdriver in there, I should be able to feel it. Yeah, I can feel the ratchet. Let's see if I can turn it. Yep. Yeah, that's going to turn. Alright, I won't be able to show you what's actually in there, but in that hole directly at the bottom, there is not a ratchet as such, but like a screw type sort of thing. I'm not sure exactly what you had to explain it, but basically what it is there's a roller with little lugs on it that you use your screwdriver to put on the edge and turn it around. And in one end there's a screw. So when you turn that adjuster, one end there's a screw, the other end there's just a little, like a little dick thing that hooks onto one of your handbrake shoes and just holds it in position. When you rotate it, that screw will extend or go in depending on what way you spin it. and what we want to do is extend that screw out to take out the slack in the shoes. By extending it, we're bringing the shoe out further towards the outside of the drum, and that takes all the free play out of the handbrake itself, out of the cable. So what we've got to do is start adjusting it. All I can show you is the screwdriver in there, and that's about it, because I can't get the camera in, obviously. So what you need to do is find that notched adjuster, and then you want to try and get your screwdriver to grip on it, and you want to rotate it up. It'll take a bit of practice to get it right. I've done, you know, well, thousands of trucks with these style brakes, so it's not so hard for me. But for a first timer, you may struggle a bit. Just keep at it, you will get it eventually. It's just a bit fiddly. And what you want to be doing to take the slack out of them, so basically you want to be prying the adjuster from around clockwise. So you'll be prying it with your screwdriver, you'll be prying it up like that to spin it around. To de-adjust it, obviously you'll be prying it down to de-adjust it. So we'll just keep going until we lock the drum up. And as I said, this may take a while as it's fiddly. The hardest part's finding where the actual adjuster is. Once you've found it, it's not so bad. Okay, I think that's locked up. Yep. So as you can see, the hub will still move in the drum, but the drum is solid. Can't move that. So that means that the handbrake is now essentially on. So then what you want to do is get your screwdriver back in there, find your little adjuster again, and you just want to release it or de-adjust it, not very far, just until your drum goes loose again. But you don't want to de-adjust it too far or you won't be adjusting your handbrake properly. Alright, so I've de-adjusted that a couple of turns, and now the drum is loose again. Now, if your drum is worn, uneven, like it's bowed sort of, or there's like high points, it will grab on the handbrake. Some people that may concern, they'll be like, oh, your handbrake's gonna get hot and blah blah blah. Yeah, you may be right, but it's not gonna be that big of a drama. The shoes will just wear down. These shoes, they probably haven't got a lot of life left in them. I think they only had about 5 mil or so left when I did the brakes on them last. So if they do grab slightly, it's not a big drama, and I'm certainly not fussed, and I wouldn't say that it would cause a problem. Yeah, so now that I've de-adjusted it, I'm going to readjust it up again, just to make sure that I can get it perfect. So I'll take it back up again so it's tight. Count how many like little revolutions I'm doing. So I've basically done that like 2 notches. Put the screwdriver back in, and I'll try and de-adjust it a bit. So I've de-adjusted it, it's about 1, still tight. So I'll put it in there, and we'll do it again. There's about another half a tooth. Rightio, so I've got that set pretty much perfect for my liking anyway. So now the handbrake should already be a lot better. This side wasn't so bad, I already adjusted the other side. The other side had a lot of slack in it. So hopefully the cable isn't stretched now, which will be the next thing we're going to check, is the actual cable. Once we check how high the handbrake actually comes up. But I'll show you here's another thing. So on the backing plate here of the 79 series, we've got here, there's the cable that comes in to the backing plate. This is the handbrake cable. There's another adjustment down here you can make, and that's sort of, you can do it there as well. It's not the proper way, and what happens is when this gets pulled out that way, that's bringing the handbrake on. So if you adjust this screw out, you're effectively doing the same thing, but that also affects how far back this cable will come. So that can also be a way of taking the slack out of your cable, which we may have to do. So it's the same on the other side as well, that has that same adjustment. So if there's too much slack in this cable, we can de-adjust that and the spring will pull it in a bit, and it sort of keeps tension on the cable. There is also an adjustment at the lever, but we'll suss out how much how much leverage there is there now, and whether or not we go any further with adjusting it. Right, so we're back up here in the cab. Well, pull the handbrake. Oh, look at that. That's already pretty dang good. Oh yeah. Let's see how many clicks that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's hard enough to get into 8. We refine it, we'll get up a bit higher. Bloody hell, that's bloody perfect just about. I don't think we're gonna have to do much more. But as I did say, there is an adjustment in here. I'm sort of standing in the rain, so I'll try and do it quickly. It's a very simple adjustment. So basically, this is at the end of your cable here. If you do this nut up, it'll drag the cable through further. There should be a lock nut on there, but I haven't got one, so that's probably not helping. But that's a way a lot of people do it. It's the lazy man's way. And you're effectively not adjusting your brake shoes, you are adjusting the slack in your cable, which will stretch it and will actually wreck it in the long term. So you're better off adjusting them at the shoes, the mechanical part of it. Well, this is also mechanical, but at the very start of the system. And then if you still need to adjust it, adjust your cable after. Don't adjust your cable first. Do that after if you still have a lot of slack in it. But you would effectively just screw that nut down further, drag the cable through a bit more, and then that'll be it. Okay, so I've just come back down here just to, I'm not gonna do it because mine doesn't really need that adjustment now because the handbrake feels really good. But if you were to, handbrake's on there at the moment, you can see the gap. I can almost fit my little finger through it. If you did adjust your handbrake at your shoes and you took all the slop out of them and you went up to your handbrake lever, pulled it, and there was still a lot of leverage, or still went up a long way, the next thing you would do is you can come down here, you can de-adjust these a bit, so screw them so that the little stopper's in further. These springs will pull back the cable and take the slack out of it, and I would do it just until the cables go not tight, but there's you can't really wriggle them, and there's not a lot of noticeable slack. And then once I had taken the little bit of slack out of the cable that's down there with the spring pressure on it, I would then go up to the adjustment on the handbrake handle itself, and I'd screw that cable out a bit further until you sort of got the handbrake to a reasonable height. The way I generally do it when I do adjust handbrakes at the cable is I do it until I can just feel there's about a centimetre or so, I can feel the handbrake coming on through the handbrake handle itself. But I would only do that if I had no adjustment left at my shoes. I would always adjust the shoes first on the handbrake, and that's the best way to keep your shoes in good nick and to save your cable, because you don't want to wear it, you don't want to stretch your cable beyond the point where you've got to put a new one in, because that's a very painful thing to have to do. Whereas replacing handbrake shoes it's so easy. With the caliper off, the drum slips off, and you just slap a new set in. So that's pretty much it. That's the correct way to do it. And if you do it that way, your handbrake should work pretty well. The Landcruiser handbrakes, they aren't fantastic to start with. There is sort of a design thing there where they sort of didn't do the levering measurements and whatnot, how they probably, how they could have done them. They could have been done a little bit better. But if you adjust your handbrake properly, it'll always work. And yeah, you'll won't have any dramas, and you can probably say you'd be safe to leave it on a very steep hill with just the handbrake on, because I do that all the time. I don't put it in gear. Yeah, so we'll leave it there for the moment. Alright, so I'm going to put the wheels back on, and this job will be done. So this will be a nice short little video on how you go about adjusting your handbrake on your Series 9 series. Now this is just for my model. I'm not exactly sure what they're like on the newer models. This is a HZ 79 series, so it may differ, but being Land Cruiser, they're pretty agricultural, and I doubt they've probably changed a lot. So if you've got that style of handbrake, that's exactly how you go about adjusting it, and you shouldn't have a problem. And you can, one thing I will add also is if you do want to check the linings on your shoes, all you have to do is remove the caliper and that drum will slide straight off, and you can look at the lining on your shoes and the wear in your drum. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So nice and short little video. Thanks all for watching, everybody. See you in the next one. Hero.